Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NFL Picks versus the Spread, the special playoff edition. It is now the divisional round in the NFL playoffs. I'm Cav Manning. My nonsense you know where to find is at Lingus Mafia. I'm along with your bet-picking extraordinaire. That is all of your stuff to find for all your betting. This man will come through for you. That's Billy Body.
Hey.
And you're at lockbetting.com. That's where to find all of your best plays for the playoffs.
How did I do last week? I'm sure I went 5-1.
Okay, we both picked Vegas. With the it was -6 for Cincinnati. So we didn't get that because would they lose by 7?
I lost by 7. I actually didn't have Vegas on the other show I did with Disco and Kona. Yeah, but all right. So I still think that's the only one I had wrong.
Well, our lock was Buffalo, both of us, and we killed that one because that was only 4.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
We both picked the Bucks, and that was at -8.5.
Yep.
You picked San Francisco. I picked Dallas, -3. Got that one.
Yep.
We both picked Pittsburgh.
No, we didn't.
We both said Pittsburgh with the 12.5.
No, we didn't. I didn't take Pittsburgh. I would never have taken Pittsburgh.
We're going to have to go back to the tape because this was getting 12.5 points.
Yeah, I didn't take the 12.5. You did.
I'm going to have to go back. Arizona and...
That was
good.
My second choice for my lock was KC. It would have been. So that's why I know. But you can check.
Okay. Arizona and the Rams. The Rams we both took, and that was -4. So did decently. I mean, as long as our lock won, that was the most important. I had somebody tweeting us, "Hey, where's the picks?" And I was like, "It's up." And they're like, "Oh, good job with the Bills." Like they do right away. They're like, "Hey, that was a good lock." So we got good on that. Going into this week, the number 1 seats are playing. So everyone is back to the mix here, and it'll be very interesting. First on the docket is Cincinnati going to Tennessee. Cincinnati is getting 3.5 points here. Tennessee going to have their boy back. Going to be running wild on them. You get a little worried that Cincinnati hadn't won a playoff game since, 91? That's some wild shit. They said there was no text messaging the last time they won the playoff game. So this was the first time someone texted and said the Bengals have won a playoff game. I would take Tennessee here to be able to cover that. Being home, being the number 1 seat, having their guy back to run all over them, and it was almost like they didn't need him in the first place. I mean, they still got the number 1 seat. I'm not as confident about Tennessee as you are for the long haul, but Cincinnati is not a joke. They're not a joke, but it depends on as well which Cincinnati shows up.
Yeah, I got this team going to the Super Bowl, so for me it's really hard to not take them here. How do you take a spread like 3.5 points? I feel this is the game they come out and make a statement. I feel the Bengals won their Super Bowl last week.
Yeah,
I took the Chiefs for the same reason last weekend, where I turned around and said the Steelers won their Super Bowl the week before, and just getting there was good enough. Now then they had to keep up with this team. This is different. Obviously, this team will feel like they belong in the playoffs, and now that they're there, and obviously they're coming up against Tennessee, which is better than going away to the Chiefs or the Bills on paper, you would think. However, they're still not as good as Tennessee, and Tennessee still have the ability to stay on the field for between 35 and 40 minutes, which is going to put pressure on Burrow on the road to score points every time he's out there. So I feel like as long as Henry's effective as he was before, I imagine that he won't that he won't be getting the ball as much as per usual. But I believe that, like, if they get through this game, then next week is going to have a lot more carries and is going to be a lot more dangerous. But I do feel they'll get through this game. I think this team's so hard to beat in this playoff if all the pieces are there. When Derrick Henry plays, his team average 28 points per game. So this is good for them covering the spread, and it's good for the total as well, which is only 47.5. So you would need the Bengals to score 20 to catch that total if Tennessee continued to score 28. But I don't think the Bengals are going to score way more than 20. I think if the Bengals score 24, Tennessee Tennessee will still cover because they'll have 28 if this trend continues. So I think it's hard for me not to take Tennessee here.
A lot of running and hold on to the ball, keep them off the field with when it comes to Henry, right? They're going to run the ball a lot to keep Burrow away.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the time of possession is going to just weigh heavily in Tennessee's favor. It's important to get off to a good start, I think, as well, because what you don't want is this team having to chase the game. If they go down even like 7-0 or 10-0 or whatever, then you have to chase the game, and then you're less likely to run when you need scores. So I think it's important for them to get out in front. But I think if they get the first score in this game, then I think this is going to be easy. This is the first. Are you doing this in order in terms of the first game? Yeah. So I think what usually happens, I don't know if this is actually statistically correct, but it's a feel I have, and it feels like the home team in the first game of the weekend usually gets it up and running with a win, and the bullshit kind of stuff really starts happening after that. But I think you usually get a solid home win for the favorites. And all this weekend, you're looking down these spreads and you're not worried about the spreads too much. I don't think you're worried because they're all under a touchdown, every single one. So you'd have to be really unlucky to take the winner and get covered against in these games.
Yeah, that's the Saturday afternoon game for me is 1:30 p.m. is when it starts. So no morning games anymore at this point. Next up is your boys, and it's San Francisco going into Green Bay. San Francisco's getting 6. This is the one you had said, you go, I don't want to see a hot San Francisco. I don't want this, and this is what you're getting. And Rodgers does not beat them in the playoffs, which is very bizarre. It's like I said, somebody, like, certain teams got certain teams' numbers, whatever, all that kind of shit. This is the kryptonite for Aaron Rodgers. So can he get this behind him? It's going to be freezing, which doesn't help Jimmy G's fucked up thumb to hold on to the ball. And he's got a shoulder problem, too. So 6 points, I will take San Francisco here because of the trend more than anything else, that I think this is in Rodgers' head more about just San Francisco, the same way Green Bay is in Chicago's head, that no matter what, it's the jersey and it freaks him the fuck out.
Well, he beat the shit out of his team earlier on in the season.
Beat the shit out of the team? Do you recall the end of that game? Beat the shit out of the team?
Yeah, but I mean...
winning by 2 on the last second of the game.
Right, but I mean, it was a switch off.
Well, here was the funny thing, though, if you want to talk about like this history, because last year, or the year before, I think it was the year before that, where, remember the Niners beat the Packers, and then you said when they had a beat in the playoffs, they go, yeah, but they beat them that one time, but this will be different. And then they butt fucked again. So I'm like, so this time, because they won, this means they'll still win. But last time, because the Niners won, it means they can't win again.
What do you mean?
Well, but last time you said because the San Francisco 49ers beat the Packers that, okay, well, now they're not going to because it's the second time they have to see them. But this time, the Packers won the first time, so they'll still win the second time.
I don't remember taking Green Bay in that conference championship.
Oh,
if I did,
God, did you? You were like, they're going to kill them. And it was like, this is different now. It's the playoffs. Oh, it was a big thing, and then it was like real quick. It was like, well, okay, not quite, but it's just
I don't know.
This
about
is the
that.
team against them.
Maybe last year I know I said that, but because I don't remember being confident about it the year before.
It was whenever the hell the 49ers went to the Super Bowl that prior year against the Kansas City. Yeah.
The year before, because we're always in the final.
Yeah. It's always the bridesmaid. You pretty confident, though, about this? I mean, they are at home. I mean, I'm not going to be fucking surprised or anything. They are at home. I don't know if that matters greatly because they do lose at home in the playoffs anyway, but they're at home. It's going to be 1 degree. That might fucking have a lot to do with it, too. They're getting back a lot of guys, too. But are they rusty? Because this is like their first game back, like their offensive linemen and shit like that. And then it's like thrown into the fire.
Like, you're always on about that. Like, no, I don't think so. Like, I don't think that's with this team. Like, they had a quarterback who wasn't practicing all season, so their practice was based around him not being there or not being able to play. So.
Yeah, but that was Rodgers not playing. I mean, that is different, and he was playing every week anyway. So he's skilled enough, obviously. You don't even need to practice, but he was still playing the game every week. These guys who are coming back have been out like the entire year, like the offensive linemen. They're all pros and stuff. Like, they haven't done anything for the entire year. So now it's, here's a game for you. Is that easy enough for them to just go, yeah, this is riding a bike? Or is it going to be like, I got to get my fucking feet underneath me. I'm not in this ready shape, you know?
No, I don't think so. I think it's I think we're a team that needed a rest, at the quarterback position particularly. So
yeah.
No, I don't think this is going to be a big issue in that sense. I think the main issue is going to be that it's not going to be down to rest. It's going to be down to the fact that I don't want to play this team and go against what they do, because what they do is what we don't like. So
the running,
that's all the issue. And I said, like, I don't want to play this team.
Yeah.
Like, I was straight up about it and said, I don't want to play against this team. This is what they're going to do. In saying that, they didn't destroy the Cowboys last week, and they leave that fucking back door open all the time. They've done it throughout the whole season. So I wouldn't be surprised in this game, because I was really worried beforehand and after seeing what they did to the Cowboys. And then at the end, the Cowboys are driving up the field. Yeah, they fucked up.
Yeah, McCarthy.
They fucked up by spiking the ball on 0 seconds or whatever they did, or not getting in a huddle quick enough. However way you look at it, but they would have had a shot into the end zone. They should never ever have been able to get back into a position where they do that.
Yeah,
this San Francisco, they did this in a Super Bowl, and they've done it multiple times through the season. I remember I had a bet on them, and they kept letting Seattle back in, and I think. I can't remember who else. They did it a couple of times. But, for me, if they leave that back door open here, we'll beat them. And it's ironic because we talk a lot on the show about Aaron Rodgers' statistics being poor in one thing, which is making comebacks.
Yeah.
But if the door's open and they're going to let you in, then this could be a rare opportunity where that happens. It wouldn't surprise me to see us struggling with the running game, going in at halftime, 6-7 points down, whatever it may be, and then finding a way to beat this team. So that would be a combination of possibly this rust that you talk of, and also not being able to cope with what they do.
Well, the rust I'm talking about, though, is the guys that were injured for the entire year, that now they're playing for the first time. That kind of rust, where they haven't played the entire year. and now they're playing again. And there's like multiple guys. Like they get their whole team back, which could be scary if everybody's, on the same page, because he had a great offensive line when they were all healthy. So I'm like, I don't even know if you got to take the offensive linemen out that were playing all year. I didn't see a real problem with them.
In order to win the Super Bowl, we're going to have to counteract what I believe we're going to have to counteract what is most difficult for us. This for me is a harder game than what we face next week, whoever it may be against. I feel like we'll beat the Bucks. I feel like that we do. We've looked better than them in terms of putting up points this season. So I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about this, and then I'm worried about the Super Bowl if it's Tennessee waiting there as well, because they're a better version of San Francisco. So, yeah, I think we'll win, but I think I'm going to take 6 if I'm looking at us making some sort of comeback here in the game.
Yeah, I mean, they came back the last time they played them. They, like you said, they left the door open because everybody with this defense, let's all back up. And it makes no sense to me. I'm like, why would you leave everybody so wide open? It's so stupid to me. But that's what happened the last time they played each other. Let's go on to Sunday. And the first game here is the Rams going into Tampa Bay. The Rams are getting 3 points here. The first time they played, the Rams won. They were at home. I think it helps that Tampa Bay is home this time. And for as good as the Rams look one week, they just look as just as shitty can be the next week. I'll pick Tampa Bay because, like you did, you have your season picks for who's going to the Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff. And as long as the team is alive, I kind of have to pick them to stay with my predictions. So I will pick Tampa Bay here, and they got to win by more than 3.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the spread, really. I'm worried about this team putting it all together. I think they put out their best performance for ages last week. I was surprised and also not surprised because the Cardinals have been trending downwards all throughout the second half of the season. And the only thing you could look at was that game against Dallas. But as I said on the show last week, I correctly said that loss was more of a reflection of Dallas, if you remember, where I said that, as soon as Dallas step up in competition, they don't seem to be able to make the step up. So Arizona were that, and then we saw last week that was correct in terms of that was just Arizona being a Dallas team who attends to against the bigger teams or find a way or just outthink themselves. Like McCarthy can beat the shit out of a poorly coached team or a poor team in the NFC East, which is what they ended up winning easily. But that obviously padded out their stats. So yeah, in this instance, I don't know what Rams we're going to get. I would like to think revenge spot and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the game. But I don't like that whole thing with the revenge and everything, because I think every team tries to win every game already. I mean, sure. I don't know what the statistics are, what the stats are exactly for revenge when teams get beat. Sometimes teams get beat because teams just know how to counteract what you do. And this Bucks team that are in worse shape with more players missing than the team that already lost at the Rams earlier on in the season, but it's also at home. So I think Tampa will find a way to win again. Like, the spread shouldn't matter in this game, but it is the correct spread, which is consistent throughout. Other than I feel that the first game we covered, it surprises me that the shortest spread of the biggest spread, of the weekend is Green Bay, when I'm really worried about that game. And obviously the public are hammering that, which makes me even more worried because the most bet team this week is Green Bay at -6. So that concerns me. But for me, the biggest mismatch is the first game that we covered from Tennessee. It's not Green Bay. If I was doing this, I would make the spreads different between those two. I'd find a way to make Tennessee the biggest favorite this weekend. But yeah, I think this game is right, but I still think the Bucks win. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't have any other than them being at home. I don't have any statistical data that backs that up.
All right, going on to the last game, and that is Buffalo going into KC, and Buffalo is getting 1.5 points. Boy, oh boy, talk about you could see either thing happening. You could see either team killing each other or either team barely winning. It's very, anything is available here. They pitched a perfect game, Buffalo, last week. They scored every single time they had the ball except the kneel down stuff, which is real fucking wild against Belichick. I mean, good Lord. So going into KC, though, that is a hostile environment, that's for sure. You know what? I'll take KC still because that was my pre-pick. It was Tampa and KC, so I'll stick with KC. And that 1.5, you go, well, you figure like we've always said, if you win, you're going to win by more than one.
Yeah.
I'd stay away from betting on this game, though. That's for sure.
I don't really know who to take here, to be honest. Buffalo looked great last week, obviously, but is that just because New England's season was declining and heading in that direction? It's hard to say. Buffalo don't have great wins on the season, other than that one where they killed KC.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at that, KC have come a long way since then. This is probably the most difficult game.
Oh yes, I think so.
But in their regular season, the one of the things that happened is that they had 4 more turnovers in that game. So I have no idea.
Like I said, this is not a game to bet on.
KC should win. KC should win at home against Buffalo, because they have, as I said, they've got their act together now. A lot has changed since that loss, and they'll know about that loss and they'll be prepared after that loss. I mean, Buffalo, it makes it so hard. Like, the recency bias is there. If Buffalo had won that game last week by a touchdown, or under even, this would have been maybe a bigger spread, like 3-4 points, 3.5 points, maybe. So maybe you're getting some value here with the butt fucking from last week. But how much do you put to the butt fucking from last week? Because they looked like unbelievable. So,
yeah, they look unbeatable. Sure.
No, I think KC find a way, because they also put up a lot of points last week against a defense that's been good throughout the whole season. So yeah, I think KC find a way to win. But
right.
I think I'm confident about this.
We are exact on all of the games, but it is time for your lock of the week. I think you pretty much said what your lock of the week was, but do you want to make it official?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tennessee Titans.
Okay. So Tennessee by more than 3.5 is Billy's lock of the week. My lock of the week is going to be Tampa Bay by more than 3 over the Rams. This week is not a, like, anybody wins these. I don't think I'm going to be, well, maybe Cincinnati I'd be more shocked. Even though I'm not, like I said, I'm not sold still on Tennessee, even though it's number 1 seed. I'm not sold on them. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by any of these other teams winning.
No, I mean, that's what I said. For me, this spread seems to be wrong when you're looking at Green Bay, San Francisco, and on paper, according to the bookies, that's the easiest game of the week. Maybe it's because they knew they could get people to bet on it. They knew people would just take the 6 anyway. So why make it 4.5? Why make it 3.5 when you know that you're going to get the money anyway? Whereas this game, if you made it too wide, people would be more hesitant. But I don't know. I feel this is either Tennessee get cold feet completely and actually lose the game, or they win pretty wide. I don't see the points coming into effect there. I mean, I've looked up things on this game. AJ Brown, Julio Jones are playing, and that gives Tannehill more people to pass to. Then he also has the ground game to rely on, with Henry being back, and they can run effectively against Cincy. They're missing Mike Daniels, and let me see who else. There was someone else, Larry Ogunjobi.
Oh, okay.
I've written on my notes. Yeah. Also, like this is this pass defense is one of the strongest in the league. It wasn't last season. For a few years, like Tennessee's defense was the weakest thing, and now they have this really tough like pass defense, which is going to neutralize the only weapon, which is Burrow. And they allow the third fewest explosive plays in the whole league. So that's why they've done well so far this season against Patrick Mahomes and people like that, because they can't get those explosive plays out. And, who else they beat? KC, Buffalo. And they played the Rams. They beat the Rams too. So they managed to stop Stafford as well. So it's not going to be a problem here to stop.
And then they lose to the Jets.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
but they play down. But like when they know they're in a game,
true.
Then they turn up, and that's the thing. I don't think they're going to be intimidated here, seeing Burrow. And this is the thing: the whole game for Cincinnati's in his hands, going up against the best pass rush, and a team that have already managed to stop Stafford, Mahomes, and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't. I think this line is a little bit wrong by a couple of points, but
you're right about why. Like you said, like either they're gone and lost or they win by a lot. So it's one or the other for them for sure for this game. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, where can we find all of Billy's best picks? That's what I always ask. And what do you tell me, Billy?
Yeah, lockbetting.com. So we only had one losing play in the NFL last weekend.
That's pretty good. I mean, there are less games, obviously, but we've been rolling. That's for sure. So make sure you go check that out and make some money from him. All my nonsense at Lingus Mafia. You'll be directed everywhere to go when you go to Twitter and check that out. So for Mr. Billy Body, I'm Cav Manning. Go make some money.
He could go